Looking at the rigid brass arms and metal spheres of a mechanical orrery, it is easy to view the universe as a ticking clock, a massive physical machine spinning blindly in empty space. But a growing number of people are sensing a profound disconnect with this model. We have entered a calibration crisis. The strict, materialistic vocabulary we use to map the stars has proven completely insufficient for mapping lived experience. A universe defined by its mechanical parts offers no explanation for consciousness, altered states, or the human sensation of reaching a boundary. At the same time, laboratory experiments in modern physics repeatedly demonstrate the observer effect. The data suggests that at a quantum level, the behavior of matter is linked to the presence of a conscious witness. The system reacts to being watched. To process this evidence, people are instinctively reaching backward. They are scanning antiquity to find a cosmology that actually accounts for the mind. The observer is back in the room. A map of reality that ignores the person reading it no longer aligns with the science, and it no longer answers the spiritual questions of the culture. We use words like interface, rendering, and local boundary to describe this relationship. But modern people are not inventing a new mythology from scratch. They are simply attaching current technical terms to a very old architectural blueprint. That blueprint was preserved in a highly effective data compression format, the archetype of the cosmic egg. To understand how this boundary works, we can examine the records of ancient India, Greece, and Scandinavia, three distinct, geographically isolated civilizations that all utilized this exact same symbol. Why did completely separate traditions independently map the absolute limits of our reality as a glowing protective shell? This Sanskrit manuscript documents the Brahmananda. In the Vedic tradition, the cosmos is structured as a series of layered celestial spheres and luminous fields. These archived records detail a system of step-down energy translation, mapping the sky as a series of specific, regulated barriers. In this system, the cosmic shell performs a specific function. It operates as a developmental incubator for consciousness. Infinite cosmic energy is immense and destructive. The layers of the shell act as a filter, gradually reducing that raw signal so it does not overwhelm a localized observer before they have the capacity to process it. In the Vedic model, the edge of the universe acts as a protective gestation framework, securing the observer during its phase of development. The Greek Orphic tradition encoded a similar mechanism. In their cosmology, the forces of Chronos, or time, and Ananke, or necessity, when this primeval membrane split apart, it released Phanes, a sudden, non-physical burst of pure light and awareness. This myth maps a precise point of origin. The egg represents the metaphysical threshold where a local observer first enters the cosmic system. It mirrors what we now call interface theory. A simulated environment remains in a state of suspended potential until an authorized user logs in, prompting the world to render itself. The Orphic egg preserved a structural truth that modern physics is currently wrestling with. Reality requires a witness to transform probability into experience. The Norse creation narrative begins in the deep void of Ginnungagap, sparked by the explosive collision of primordial fire and glacial ice. Out of this chaos, they described the enclosure of Midgard, a stable frequency domain within a larger, chaotic system. The layered Norse realms and the branches of Yggdrasil function as a threshold ecology, forming strict boundaries that separate vastly different states of reality. These mythic walls and guardians act as safety valves. They prevent the unfiltered, high-voltage signals of the broader cosmos from flooding the local system. The Norse model illustrates that existence is not a seamless, open expanse. It relies on a heavily regulated ecology that maintains local stability through absolute borders. When we place these ancient models side by side, a unified thesis emerges. For any system to function, it must have a boundary. A universe without a shell cannot incubate life. A reality without a defined edge has no surface upon which to render itself. If the cosmos requires a threshold, the human nervous system acts as the local regulator for that boundary. The cosmic shell is being processed and filtered every second through the biological apparatus of the mind. We are witnessing the remembrance of these symbols because our culture has run out of modern words big enough to describe its own profound nature. The archetype of the cosmic egg suggests a very different relationship with the universe. We are not drifting blindly through a dead void. We are safely enclosed, actively gestating, and preparing to cross the final threshold.